This is the boat back here. This is the one.
We did negotiate on a lower price, but let's get into the numbers. Forget about all those things that are bad. What about all those snake skins under the house? Today we looked at a boat for the back canal if we get the house. And yes, we actually negotiated the price down after getting repair quotes. But now everything depends on the appraisal and the pool inspection. And we're answering your questions at the end, including the one we weren't prepared for. What's up guys, welcome back. Today's video is going to be a bit of different things. First off, we are going boat shopping. Second off, we have a big update about our house hunt. If you've seen our last few episodes, we got to update you on what's going on with that. Also, we're going to answer some of your questions or comments. There's been a lot stirring. We got a lot of comments on the last video.
Yeah, y'all had a bunch of comments. Y'all was trying to break my heart and scare me. But we are looking at a couple boats. I'm looking at some pontoons, maybe just some footprints in case I want to build something custom. Don't know if I have enough time for another project like that though. So I'm also looking at like some fishing boats that could be kind of like instant fun for the whole family. But then I'm also considering as well maybe like an offshore boat that could make a run to the Bahamas, because we do have ocean access at the house we're looking at. I'm going to be looking at them off of Facebook Marketplace, so as we all know, they look different. Facebook Marketplace is the tender and Zillow is the tender of buying boats. Sometimes we show up and we got catfished. All right, y'all, so I think that this could be one hell of a sea shanty here. You know, they're bigger. This one's a 24-footer, 24-inch tube, so it's a little bigger than I thought it would be. So we'll keep an eye on her. This one definitely goes in the maybe stack. So out the gate, I would say the biggest pro for this boat was that it was pretty large and it was also one of the cheaper ones. This would be great for like a sea shanty, floating dock sort of deal. It's basically just a clean footprint to start a bigger project on. Don't mind that rust. That was just rusty screws leaking off from the bimini. But all in all, she looked pretty good underneath. You'd obviously have to make a new deck and then you'd be good to go. She's got the big tube, so she would hold a bunch of weight if I had to do a little bit of a heavier build. All in all, a complete teardown, but if I were to have the time for a project, this could be perfect. All right guys, so this boat looked a lot smaller on the ad. I was like thinking it was just kind of a little runaround boat. I don't even know if this will fit where we have to take it to. This might be one that just sits on a trailer, but we were looking for a boat that could maybe run around town a little bit. And yeah, you can like run completely under this thing. It is massive. It's a complete rebuild, but as you guys know, Larry Lambs is itching to grab that router again. I feel like we could just about live in this bad boy for real. Let's take her up there and have a look on the innards. Oh yeah, you can see Kristen in this bad boy, eating over the 7 seas. Don't lean on it.
Yeah, really.
Full standing room inside here. I mean, once you get to the front, you start touching the head a little bit. Got a little cuddy up here where you could put the baby or some storage items. I'm sure this thing would be riding pretty rough, hitting waves and whatnot. Got a small sink. Small little sink. Could probably, okay, yeah, so that drains to the bilge. And there. So you could set up a shower in here. That'd be no problem. Got a little paint knocked off. You'd have a full bed right there, all electrical. You know, this could be a nice little, throw a grill in the back. Oh yeah, you could put a full bed in this bad boy. You got the hatch there. Never get tired of that view. I don't know, boys. This might be a top runner right here. This one might be the big dog. You can see out the windows. This thing's kind of sick. If I can get them down to a couple thousands, I think this might be the one.
Before we show you more of this whole moving while house hunting chaos, we want to thank today's sponsor, Bluetti. The Elite 400 has been a lifesaver for us during this weird in-between stage. This is the Bluetti Elite 400, and it's literally the first thing we bring anywhere right now. Before furniture, before tools, before decor, this is the first thing that comes with us. When you're in that transition phase, meeting inspectors, walking through empty houses, dealing with that old electrical work, you never really know if the power's gonna be on or safe to use.
Or if the breaker is older than we are and it pops every time you plug something bigger than a phone charger into it.
Exactly. That's why having high power and big battery capacity has been huge for us. The Elite 400 gives you 3,840 watt hours of power and a 2,600 watt output with up to 3,900 watts of lifting power, which means during inspections and early walkthroughs, we can run real stuff with its 9 device ports. Lights, fans, tools, camera gear, and yes, even the coffee maker. In the home that we had toured, some outlets were dead during inspection, so we rolled this in like a suitcase and powered everything ourselves. It honestly saved the day.
And being in Florida, the grid flickers every time a cloud has emotions.
That's why we're obsessed with the 15 millisecond UPS switchover. If the power drops at our Airbnb or even eventually our new house, our cameras, baby monitor, Wi-Fi, it all stays on without even an interruption. Even though it's almost 4 kilowatt hours of power, it rolls like luggage. Handle, wheels, side grips, we've been moving it through garages, driveways, empty rooms, super easy. And Bluetti sent us their solar panels too, so we can charge the Elite 400 completely off grid when we need to. We set them up outside during the day, plug them straight in, and the Elite 400 pulls in clean solar power while we're out doing house tours.
It's basically our mobile clean energy station at this point.
If we're short on time, it also charges 0 to 80% in 70 minutes using AC plus solar. And the standby power is only 3 watts. So even on days we're bouncing between houses, we can top it up quickly. We also love the smart energy management. We can check everything from the app. Power use, schedules, turning it on or off remotely, which is perfect when your life is spread across multiple addresses. A huge thank you to Bluetti for keeping us powered during this moving and house transition stage. If you want to check out the Elite 400 or their solar panels, the link is in the description.
This next one was really cool because it had 3 pontoons. It was a tri-toon, which would also give you a little more flexibility in your build as far as weight could go. But this was also looked a little bit different in the pictures. I did love the forward helm because you could see really well out of all sides. The guy put some glass doors in there. So this one was a little bit of an elevated footprint, but still tons of work I still would have had to do to finish it out to Kristen's standards. It was pretty interesting. The guy had like just a regular ladder nailed down on the back, but he had a nice cooler built in there as well. So this could have been a fun boat, super fun build, but I would have had to tear some things down, and his price point was a little bit on the higher side.
Matt saw this one online, right? And what were you thinking?
I was thinking this would be the perfect boat for me and the fam going around in the bays, because it's stable and it's wider and it's more of like a smoother ride for the baby, less seasickness. But then I was thinking also, because it has dual engines, I could run it offshore and go catch those fat tunas on the days when the weather's worse and the kid and the mama's gonna stay at home. So this could be a perfect boat for us. I think the guy's a little overpriced. He's like, I know what I got. Put some elbow grease into it and you'll have a nice boat. But I'm like, you know what? How much elbow grease do I really got left to give?
Yeah, that's the issue.
This next one was a beauty. It was called the Cat Daddy, but I think she'd be a Sea Queen. This one had the most the most value for the motors. The motors looked really well on this, so they're serviceable. You could definitely do a little bit of work on those and have this boat running pretty quickly. The only bad thing about this boat was I would have to definitely put a T-top on it for shade, and then there's no sort of cabin involved at all if we were to go out for, like, let's say the better part of a day and the baby and Kristen were going to want to take a nap or something like that. There was no way to get super out of the weather here, but I do like this boat and it would be an excellent fishing boat.
That's looking like a lot of elbow grease from where I'm standing.
A lot of elbow grease, but pressure washer could make a big difference too. The engines do look serviceable, so that was the one thing with the price on this. You know, he said that is the engines are salvageable, so little work on those. Like he said, you could take this boat out and probably run it tomorrow. So it's got the big 4-blade props. Could be a nice little boat. This is the boat back here. This is the one. Oh, good Lord, sorry. Ah, ain't easy getting back here. But this, now this is the one. This bad boy, the little cuddy cabin. Now this is something that would be cool to get, because the little baby, what is this, an offshore 24? The little baby could go in there and go to sleep while me and Kristen was out on the range. Only thing I don't like about this one, only one engine, so clearly less safe if you end up offshore with a baby. But it's got a little door in there, nice top for shade. This could be a nice little family boat. I'd climb in there and show y'all what it looks like, but I'm not gonna climb on somebody's boat when they ain't here. I ain't trying to get shot. Maybe I can get it up close to the window. It looked good to me. It looked pretty comfy.
Here's the house update. We have gotten our quotes and they were expensive. Some things were more money than I thought. The plumbing hit me for a surprise. I didn't think we had that big of issues, but the plumbing was a little shocking. So we did bring those to the table and we did negotiate on a lower price, but let's get into the numbers of what were the quotes that we got.
We got quoted $17,000 for a traditional septic tank with a drain fill, and then we got quoted $22,000 for a new, it's like an aerated system of septic that they do here in Florida now. So up to $22,000 for that, and then the plumbing was an $11,000 quote for that. But you know, these are quotes; they can always go up. They very rarely go down, but they can go up. And then the AC was anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000, depending on what sort of equipment I wanted to get. So we're at a grand total of anywhere between $40,000 to $45,000 worth of repairs that aren't really fun repairs, and we're still waiting on the pool. So we did negotiate the price down quite a bit. The numbers were reflective. I mean, we still have to do the repairs, so it would have been better to get even more money off. But it is ocean access waterway, so that's something that makes the price tag on those don't wiggle quite as much. The land is rare. We got the price down as far as we can go. We're waiting on the pool, and then we should be able to hopefully settle up on that deal.
Yeah, we came down a good amount and she said nah and rose it back up, and then we said nah and then we rose it a little further down, so
we teeter-tottered.
She wasn't willing to let go. So that's where we are. Now we are waiting on the appraisal. We did end up somewhat agreeing on a number, but we don't know what's wrong with the pool. So that's a scary thought. And we are waiting for the house now to get appraised. So once that happens, that's when we'll know. We'll know, is this overpriced, or are we getting a good deal here?
Yeah, whereas the price is right. So we're gonna know at our appraisal, and hopefully that works out well for us.
And the pool inspection is coming, so we're gonna know that too.
Yep, we have a guy, Diver Dan, who's gonna put on his scuba tank and go in there and check every square inch of it.
So let's get into your comments, because you guys have been going crazy down in the comments. Someone on the last video, while we were going down the inspections and how everything was bad, he said, Forget about all those things that are bad. What about all those snake skins under the house? And I thought, that's silly. What snake skins under the house? I thought this guy was just making something up to creep me out. So I went back in the inspection pictures, and little did I know, I edited this video, I've looked at these photos 100 times, but I kept focusing on the crack in the foundation of the house. And when I took a further inspection, there was a ton of snake skins.
I mean, the house hasn't been lived in for a year, so it's next, you know, that's one thing. It's been a tranquil place for the snakes to hibernate and shed their skins off. It was in the crawl space. It backs up to that waterway, and also there's like a nature preserve in the area, so there is plenty of wildlife around, and that is where the snakes decided to deposit their skins. There were some pretty big ones. I'm actually a little bit eager now to get back and crawl under there and see exactly how many were there, because there were several in the pictures. So yeah, I'm gonna be a Crocodile Dundee, Steve
Just
Irwin.
for that, they should give us 100K off, in my opinion. The next comments that we saw, obviously everyone told us to run, just run. And let's clarify why we're thinking about not running.
I think that the property has its value in just the location. The neighborhood's absolutely beautiful. It's a well-established, good neighborhood. It borders up against the water on a nature preserve, so the odds of that view ever changing are, you know, pretty low. And you know, like I said, I could drive, you know, theoretically in a few years when I can afford a boat again after all these repairs, I could take a boat, you know, straight to the Bahamas from my house in about 5 hours, 4 hours. So that alone has a lot of value. You're not going to get a really nice house with that for less than $700,000-$800,000, upwards of $1 million. I don't have that kind of scratch, and no one's going to give me that kind of money either. So the only way I can do is, you know, slide into third base here with some repairs to do. I know I can fix. I got sick, so working out in the sun day after day, week after week is dangerous for me at this point, but I do believe I can work inside. I can do a remodel and I can fix all of these things. And I think the value with Kristen's design is going to come with, you know, with the location of the house. It does have some issues, but right now, I think realistically we're going to get it for a steal. We've been doing this for about 3 months now, home shopping, and it's outrageous in Florida. But Florida is the greatest state in the greatest nation on planet Earth. So you're going to pay to be there. Hashtag Florida man. So it's you know, it's a wonderful place to live. It's beautiful, and you know, you gotta pay for that. I could move to Arkansas and spend $50,000. Guess what? I already did that in Puerto Rico. I had my farm, and I had little to no infrastructure, and it was a disaster for me.
Long story short, if we always ran every time everyone told us to run, we wouldn't be where we are now.
Well, we'd still be running.
We bought that $5,000 Craigslist boat with a hole in the top. No one wanted that boat.
People tell you don't go sailing your boat with no engine and you know, rigging from Walmart. People say don't do that, and we said, I don't know. But one guy said, unless you can get the house down for $75,000, don't take it. We offered him $75,000, and you know, we didn't land on that mark, but we're trying to get a discount that size would be great. And then what was the other one? Oh yeah, they were saying, some of you haters were in there saying that they're just getting this house for content. And there's, you know, I could get content a lot cheaper.
There's a lot worse, better content houses out there.
I would just do mukbangs for content if I was that hard up. I would just eat the whole menu of Taco Bell every other week. You know, there's tons of content. Get in the house, because I think it's a great house. I think there's a diamond in the rough here, and I think with a little bit of that,
little more double ha-has.
Gotta double it. I think it's gonna be really, really nice, and you know, it's gonna be good for me for the next year to be working indoors, growing up my little sweet baby, and you know, building the house that I think is gonna be spectacular when it's finished.
So make sure you guys subscribe so you can see how this adventure turns out. We don't know. We are sitting on the edge of our seats. We still don't know what's going to happen.
Hopefully by the next video.
Hopefully pray that the pool inspection, there's no problems.
And pray that some of those boats, you know, pray that some of those boats maybe come back better. You know,
come back better? Like cheaper?
Yeah, they come back cheaper. I think I can hit some guys down a little bit, you know. So if I can get that, it's just...
I like the big one with the the whole space to go inside.
That was a big boy. That was a full teardown. That was a year's worth of work in and of itself.
Well, he didn't want to do the big project that I wanted. I wanted a $20,000 Viking that needed full redone.
There's
that
like a
sank once.
40-foot Viking, and Kristen's like, Viking. And I said, first of all, I don't think we could fit that under the bridges to get to where we're going. And second of all, I don't think even the draft would make it there, but maybe. We'll
the girl
see.
can dream.
Hey, it's still for sale. So, maybe we get the Viking.
Anyways, we'll see you next time. Bye.